All right, so let's move into the question of the day. Question of the day: how do you know who to listen to? Hmm. Hmm. Talk to me, chat. Everybody that can tap in, chat 333. I'm gonna give y'all a couple minutes to answer this. How do you know who to listen to? While I wait on y'all to chime in, let me give some of my sentiments on it. Like in regards to, it's a few ways to measure on whether or not a person is a good person to listen to. Obviously, I think the first one that most people lean on is measuring the person who's speaking by their own results, right? So, easy example, if you know somebody who's been married 50 years and they talking to you about the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts of sustainability and longevity and shit like that, you know what I mean? Most people are going to take heed to their words more than their single friend. You know what I mean? So you can always measure by someone's results in regards to how to know who to listen to. Only issue with that is nowadays in the land of illusion, a lot of people's results ain't necessarily what they be letting on, and so you gotta look out for that as well. I think I'm gonna take it a different route though and say that discernment, that just being tapped in and in tune with yourself, your hair, your skin, your body, your mind, your gut instinct, where your first brain is, your gut, all of those things are, that amalgamation of things is pretty much what your intuition feelings are. When you get intuitions and you feel intuitive, that's pretty much what those things are. So like when your hair stand up and you get goosebumps for some reason and you feel presence around you even though you think you're alone or whatever's going on, that your body is communicating to you, you know what I'm saying, about your environment, you know what I mean? And so same thing in conversation when someone's speaking to you, or it could be someone offering unsolicited advice, it could be you at a public place listening to a public speaker, understanding what to extract from their speech and what's good for you and what isn't applicable. Those things come from, I think, discernment. I would use my discernment more so than measuring people's results, because you never really know what people got going on unless their level of transparency is on like 10. And most people ain't operating on level 10 transparency, which I don't believe you should. I believe in privacy, honestly. So as a thought says, you can listen to anyone, but doesn't mean you have to take on every word. Everyone has advice. That's facts. That's facts. Souls of thoughts in the building, coming through with that classic response. Classic. Yeah, I agree too. He said you can listen to anyone, but doesn't mean you have to take on every word. Everyone has advice. That's true too, and I think that ties back into the discernment that I was speaking about as well. I'm in alignment with you, bro, because that's kind of what the discernment is for, right? You can listen to someone and extract what you need, and just understand which parts don't benefit you. Not even that they're, not factual or not useful. It's just not for you. You know what I mean? Same thing. So I'm definitely tapped in alignment with you on that. Another way, how do you know who to listen to? I think when you've been around for somebody's journey, like certain people, like, okay, I got an older brother, for example. So he known me my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I known him my whole life. He known me my whole life, but I haven't known him his whole life. He got a couple of years on the planet before me. You feel me? So it's like, but you watch a person that you've been around for so long or so close to it, you see what they go through. And then if you see some of their journey, when they speak about certain things, you know how to take heed to what they saying, because if they speaking based on their experiences and the things they've gained along the way, and you've been there to see the road that they navigated, you can kind of gain an understanding of, whether or not their input is valuable in which spaces, and more or less valuable in certain spaces for you in particular. It could be valuable in general, but maybe not for you. And again, that kind of goes back to discernment as well, wisdom as well, all of that. Justin Davis said, you don't know. Illusion stated, some people too truthful to point of being a liar. We're gonna have to discuss that. How are you too truthful to the point of being a liar? Is crazy. Some people speak solely in parables to the point where their truth is illustrated. What's up, souls? Yeah, I'll say that too. Yeah, some people do speak in parables to the point where, like, if you can't keep up, you won't know what they saying at all. You just be like, like, yeah. That can sometimes, like I told y'all, the best way to communicate is in straight lines. It's pros and cons to that. You probably be perceived as an a-hole or whatever the case may be. But in some instances, but talking straight is normally the best way to communicate. So yeah, how do you know who to listen to? That's interesting though. Some dope commentary on this. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I'm trying to think if there's any other ways that where you can tell who to listen to and who not to listen to. I think we cover some good ones. I ain't gonna overkill it. I think we cover some good ones, man. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat, man. If you like what you just saw, support the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and jump in the comments. Talk to me so we could crack these codes. If you want to support the channel monetarily, go to my website and cop some merch, www.theclassiccodes.com. Or you can shoot me a Cash App. Either way, stick to the codes. Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Hardened my heart.